Welcome to LFC Transfer Hub. Alexis Mac Allister change now clear at Liverpool as transfer worry won't go away. Second news is Dominic Szoboszlai agent issues Liverpool statement as Real Madrid transfer rumors increase. Third news is Ibrahima Konate Liverpool contract decision agreed upon after return to form and £60 million transfer. Now details. When it comes to playing games in football, the action is never restricted to just on the pitch. And even though there are 4 months until the summer transfer window opens, debate over the future of players continues to dominate the headlines. Alexis Mac Allister found himself at the center of the latest rumor this week with claims Manchester United are looking at a potential move for the Liverpool midfielder. That the bitter North-West rivals haven't done any direct transfer business since Phil Chisnall swapped Old Trafford for Anfield almost 62 years ago indicates speculation is almost certain to remain just that. But that such talk has been given credence has perhaps been possible given Mac Allister's indifferent form for much of the season for Liverpool, having struggled to regain full fitness and sharpness after the injury he had nursed during the closing stages of the title-winning campaign under Arne Slot. Mac Allister was voted by his fellow professionals among the best Premier League players after building upon his impressive debut term at Liverpool. Having been employed first as a sole defensive midfielder, and then a more attacking force under Jurgen Klopp, Slot reverted him to playing alongside Ryan Gravenberch in a double pivot, with the Argentina international having forged his reputation at Brighton operating in a similar role alongside Moises Caicedo. Despite, particularly during the opening months of this season, understandable concerns over his match sharpness, Mac Allister has sat out only 2 games. Injured for the Premier League win at Newcastle United in August, and then rested for the League Cup triumph against Southampton the following month. Of his 37 appearances, 29 have been as a starter, indicating Slot still regards Mac Allister as one of his most trusted lieutenants despite the obvious dip in performance level during the second half of 2025, save the November week in which a Champions League winner against Real Madrid was followed by an assist against Aston Villa. The turn of the year, though, has witnessed a marked improvement. After 2 assists in the FA Cup win over Barnsley came a brace in the Champions League rout of Qarabag, while his increased durability is evident by his outing against former club Brighton in the FA Cup on Saturday being the 5th successive game in which he has played the full 90 minutes. Similar to Dominic Szoboszlai and Ryan Gravenberch, Mac Allister is approaching the final 2 years of his contract, with discussions having taken place over a new contract. Talk of interest from United, as with that in Szoboszlai of Real Madrid, won't harm any attempts to negotiate a salary increase. But now 27, Mac Allister seems the most likely to consider a move in the summer, particularly having previously made clear the appeal of playing in Spain at some point in his career. Real Madrid have long been touted with interest, and another good World Cup with Argentina in the summer would bump up Mac Allister's value further, and make him an even more attractive proposition to the Spanish side, who rarely allow themselves to not be linked with top players. Liverpool and Slot have made clear the continued importance of Mac Allister this season, with the Argentine pivotal should the Reds salvage tangible reward from a difficult campaign. But if he moves on in the summer, it will far more likely be to the Bernabeu than down the other end of the East Lancs Road. Second news is Dominic Szoboszlai agent issues Liverpool statement as Real Madrid transfer rumors increase. Dominic Szoboszlai's agent has played down talk of interest in a move to Real Madrid this summer, and declared the player is not looking for a transfer. The future of Szoboszlai has been the subject of speculation over the last few days after his Hungarian national team boss Marco Rossi commented to Madrid-based sports news outlet Marca it was the dream of the midfielder to play for Real Madrid. It came as Real Madrid winger Vinicius Jr. announced during a YouTube documentary that he speaks regularly with Szoboszlai, having befriended the 25-year-old earlier in his career. While the Liverpool midfielder still has more than 2 years to run on his present contract, the Reds are keen to reward him for his progress, having emerged as their stellar performer this season after helping them win the Premier League title last term. Szoboszlai recently revealed talks remain ongoing and has expressed his desire to extend his Anfield commitment. And now his agent Matthias Esterhazy has sought to clarify the situation by stating the Hungary captain is not looking elsewhere. It's completely normal for the public, when Dominic is performing like this, to talk about what's next and if there's something higher. For us, it's not a topic. We are mid-season. He has a lot of work ahead of him in the Premier League, the FA Cup and the Champions League. He has said many times how important this competition is for him. So at the moment to talk about what will happen in the summer, in my opinion, is not correct. Not to mention, Liverpool are one of the biggest clubs in the world and Dominic is in a position within the team that has a lot of reserve, so we are not looking outside or elsewhere. Third news is Ibrahima Konate Liverpool contract decision agreed upon after return to form and £60 million transfer. Speaking on Friday, Arne Slot explained that Liverpool remain locked in talks with Ibrahima Konate's representatives over a new contract at Anfield. The France international sees his terms expire at the end of the season and, as things stand, he is set to become the latest in a long line of high-profile players in recent years whose deals have ran out before leaving. James Milner, Naby Keita, Roberto Firmino, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain and Gini Wijnaldum are just four who have left as free agents since 2021, and Trent Alexander-Arnold would have joined that list had Real Madrid not paid a £10 million premium to get the England international in early for June's Club World Cup in the United States. Slot revealed. We are in talks with him, so that tells you what we want. It's clear we would like him to stay, but negotiations are ongoing, so let's see where that ends. We wouldn't be in negotiations if we didn't want him to stay. But with the centre-back reportedly seeking a significant hike on the agreement he signed when he was a young player joining from RB Leipzig in the summer of 2021, the Echo's dedicated Liverpool writers have their say on whether a new deal for Konate is a no-brainer or not. It's been a season blighted by inconsistency for Ibrahima Konate, but the defender is not alone in that regard at Liverpool. As Slot alluded to after the 1-0 win over Sunderland, where Konate excelled to quieten Brian Brobby, the defender has often been superb for 89 minutes, only for a momentary lapse in to let him down, and the idea that he was too often at the scene of the crime, to use the head coach's phrasing at Leeds in December, has been prevalent. However, Konate, who was allowed a 3-game leave of absence after the death of his father last month in Paris, has looked rejuvenated since his return to action.
It speaks to his willingness to play for the team too that he asked to come back to help out a defensive crisis recently. He did similar in January of 2025, when he made sure he returned from injury quicker than expected after a hamstring issue for Joe Gomez left the centre-back options light. Konate, in fact, even revealed he was playing through the pain barrier with the aid of pain-killing injections to make himself available for the club around that time. And he has been virtually flawless since his comeback, shining in the 4-1 win over Newcastle before that performance at the Stadium of Light last week. Throw in another good display against Brighton on Saturday night in the FA Cup, and the Paris-born player looks like he is enjoying his football once more. At the age of 26, Konate should be entering his prime as a France international centre-back who will represent one of the favourites for the World Cup this summer. It's no wonder he is likely being courted by some big clubs. Perhaps the sticking point here is the jump in the bottom line that is being sought by Konate. He has developed a lot as a player and a character in the dressing room during his 5 years at the club, but remains on the same terms agreed when he was on the cusp of turning 22. In that regard, it makes sense that Anfield Chiefs are being financially prudent at a time when their wage bill is delicately poised as one of the biggest in both English and world football. But for Liverpool, it's likely worth asking how much Konate would be worth in today's market. It surely makes financial sense to tie him down if he wishes to stay on Merseyside. Replacing him would cost a fortune, and while the £60 Jeremy Jacquet is undoubtedly one for the future, there is no substitute for experience and class at the heart of the defence.